Hello. So here we go. I'm currently taking part in this challenge called the Mermay Challenge. The Mermay Challenge. I gotta make a new layer first of all here. This is just how I do it. Could be long, could be short, you know. So it's the Mermay Challenge. The Mer stands for mermaid. May stands for the month of May. And this is my name, Edgar Lushaju, but on Instagram you find me at draw Hapa. Yeah, which means draw here. This is Swahili for here. Anyway, so this video is going to be how I mermay, how I do my mermaids. And maybe you would wonder, why do you want to show us how you do your mermaid? Ain't nobody asked you. But I just thought that maybe someone might want to know. I mean, I've had some people ask me to do videos and I've always been shy about it, or I don't know, procrastinating, stuff like that. But today I thought, well, why not? Let me just try and do this and see where it goes. If it works out, if it works out, oh man, I'm going to have so many errors. If it works out, maybe I can do more. Who knows? Okay, so let's get right to it. How do I mermay? So first of all, I'm going to have to take this guy here and maybe resize him just for intellectual property rights. Put him over there. Alrighty. And then this is an example of some of the mermaid things that I put in. So they're not the best, they're not the greatest, they're not the most awesome thing out there. I mean, there's so many other artists who do a lot of great work, like Loish and so on and so forth. But I just thought I'd give it a hint of how I did my drawings. And this is especially because when I was starting out, I didn't really have I didn't have a lot of access to like social media and stuff like that, and things like Mermay and things like all these different challenges. I don't know why I'm doodling as I'm drawing, but I guess it's the good thing about Photoshop, layers. Anyway, I didn't have access to all this, so I've been thinking that I do want to start putting some of my content out there, but how do I put it in such a way that it is valuable and in such a way that it would help anyone who's in a state that I was in when I started drawing? Okay, so let's get to it. First of all, I'm gonna have to hide the mermaids. You know, I should have like organized my layers beforehand, but yeah, I guess that's the life of the illustrator. Just mix up your layers, final layer, final new layer, and so on and so forth. Anyway, this is how I would do my mermaid, or not necessarily just the mermaid, but with anything else that I would want to do, or with anything else that I would plan to draw. So the first things first, I have to decide on a medium, right? And by medium, I mean, am I using, let's say, traditional pencil and paper? Am I going to use a paintbrush? You know, that's an awkward paper. Or am I going to use maybe a tablet, like what I'm doing right now? I'm using a Wacom, not a Wacom. I used to use a Wacom, but now I'm using a Huion that my little brother got for me. Anyway, so that's the first thing. Decide on a medium. And why I say decide on a medium, because the medium will determine a lot of things, like the level of detail, the time, the reason why you want to choose what you want to choose. I would say that it probably gets easier in terms of time shortages and detail as you go down from like pencil. Well, let's see. Paint might be a bit challenging. Pencil might be a bit easier. And the digital illustration is definitely, I think, the easiest because of the number of things that it allows you to do. That's number one. I would choose the medium. And then the second thing, which is the biggest thing to me, is the concept, right? I think the concept is by far the biggest. Well, there's two biggest. The first biggest one, say this is B1, is the concept. So this is like where your idea comes from, right? This is where the initiation or the ideation of what it is that you want to draw comes from. And for me, I did architecture. So in architecture school, when we were doing our designs, we were always required to come up with 3 concepts, right? You don't just say, I want to build a house, and you're like, yep, there we go, done. Or I want to build I don't know. Well, this is probably not what architects build. If you tell an architect to do, and it's an architect, not an architecture. If you tell an architect to do a house, they'll probably do something like this. why not? Anyway, we were always asked to come up with 3 concepts because that would again expand. What am I saying? Yeah, we'll expand your thinking. This is supposed to be a brain, so let's say that it's just expanding and expanding, right? That will push on the boundaries of your thinking and design thinking and all that. So in art, for example, I'm just going to say, let's say someone said, oh, Edgar, I need a concept art on chicken, right? So I could say, okay, I'm going to go with concept number 1. It's just going to be a nice little mother chicken here, yeah, with her chicks chilling out, having a great time. But then I'll say, okay, number 2, what if this chicken was just not sitting around, but what if it was like a superhero chicken, super chicken, for some reason. And then number 3, you're like, let's see, what if this chicken was actually a rebel chicken, right? And they're currently in man, I think I mixed up my R's and L's up in here. They're currently in like a what is this? A riot, is it? Or a protest? Protesting a particular brand that isn't really doing good for them. You know what I mean? Yeah. So these are like 3 different concepts that you can decide to go with, right? Just under the word chicken. But then after this, you have to look at what is the brief saying about the chicken. Is it a concept that is maybe just relates to showing a chicken and chicks? Is it something that needs maybe a twist of creativity? Or is it something that can inform a certain argument? Let's say this chicken's V for vegetarian, or for V for vendetta, or V for victory. There's so many things that can be read into this V and into just the image that you can make up just from the word chicken, right? So this to me would be adding a story, like in your concept. You think of an idea, the idea is a chicken, then you add a story to it. And then the more layers of the story you put into it, the more interesting it becomes. Yeah? Okay, and then the next thing, I would say, applying this theory to the concept of mermaid, right? So let's say I want to draw a mermaid, and I know that the typical or generic mermaid scene is like, you have a girl, she's usually slim with long hair, usually white, right? Or yeah, let's just say for argument's sake, let's say usually white. And then she's either combing her hair and the likes, probably singing, just a beautiful girl sitting on a rock. This is like according to maybe the generic idea when you think of mermaid. When you go into stories, mythology and all that, you find that these people eat men, especially fishermen. So maybe someone else would be like, oh, from this angle, she might just not be this attractive. Maybe there's something menacing about her. But in my case, I would say, okay, I want to do a mermaid, right, for mermaid. And I want it to be something that people can relate to, hence a girl sitting on a rock, because most people identify with that. But that will just be over here to some extent. Like I'll just be sticking with the chicken and the chick. How do I then make it creative? I can say, okay, in order to make it creative, I'm gonna maybe make the girl white, not white. I can give her another race. I can maybe put like human skulls on the ground, right? I can do that. That's me making it interesting. But then I want to, maybe I'm not just about making it some sort of a superhero or that idea of a story. Maybe I want to go here, right, to the embedded stories within. So I would say, instead of this girl just combing her hair, I can draw her. First, I can decide, okay, she's gonna be a black girl, right? Because depending also on your audience, so I can say she's gonna be a black girl. She's gonna be combing her hair, but it's not actually gonna be getting combed through, because I know the challenges of natural hair personally, and I can imagine the same for my sisters. I have 2 sisters, and I imagine the same. I know the challenges they go through when it comes to natural hair as a black person or a Tanzanian, I would say, because there's so many things you can go into that. So my Tanzanian sister's hair is really difficult to comb, especially my younger sister, when it's natural. So she relaxes it because it's so much easier for her to maintain. And my hair is like my little sister's hair. It's really, 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 really tough to comb, So yeah. Anyway, so I can do that. Like she's probably combing her hair, but the comb is not going through, and maybe I can have with a face that is like struggling to, as opposed to the face on this generic one where she's just happy mermaid. Here she's just like, can't get the comb through. She can be sitting on a rock, or maybe I can put kigoda, which is like some sort of stool that is used in Tanzania, which means now I'm contextualizing the image of the mermaid, right? And I'm no longer becoming generic and falling in line with everyone else who does the similar kind of thing. And then I can probably have a lot of broken combs here, right? A lot of broken combs. So now I've already embedded the story of a mermaid, but my idea is like a revolution against the same image. It's like a mermaid against the mermaid image, like against the image that the mermaid does. And if I was to show you my other layers, these guys over here, it's more or less the same thing. So I have here a pregnant mermaid, and I have here a mermaid breastfeeding. Something that one is not common when I look at mermaid pictures. And I put a bottle floating. Like I want to show and my little brother did a great point for this. You can find it on my Instagram at where is that layer? Oh, there we go. You can find it on my Instagram at, I'm just going to write it right here, Draw Harper. Right? He did a very good poem for this one. Just telling a story beyond just drawing mermaids. I know the challenge is to improve your drawing, but I'd like to go further and like try to add something to it. Like you improve your drawing skills, but you also improve your storytelling skills, you improve your narrative skills, you improve your composition skills. Like you can do so much from these challenges. And I could definitely do a lot in terms of coloring, because most of them are just like lines and sketches, but I can probably say I want to improve my coloring, improve my backgrounds, because my images, as you can see, they're sort of empty in the back. So there's so many things you can do, but this video was just to show how you can conceptualize and come from here to here to here. And I think this is going to be my next mermaid sketch, so watch out for it at Draw Harper once again. If you're watching this video past, because this is May 2021, so if you're watching it after this date, you can still go back, scroll through my Instagram and see what I did, if I ever did this. Otherwise, I hope all you guys are doing great. And just finally, I'd like to say that the next, what am I saying finally for? I ain't done. What's going on here? I can just stop right here. So yeah, sorry about the being done. I'm not done. The third thing, which is B2, is now drawing. This is where you bring all this into the final image, right? This is where you do the composition. Where is this person going to sit? The rule of thirds, or the what's this? The Fibonacci spiral thingy-majiggy. Like where are the people going? Where do you want the focus to be? Do you want it to be here where there she's pulling? Do you want it to be this expression? Do you want maybe the combs to align, to the eye to be drawn to something in this way, or from here to go down? This is the second most important bit, I think, of the entire process. How you draw, how you put your work so that your message is delivered as you have intended. Oh my goodness, English came on my board. Yeah, and then with like Photoshop, you can add layers. You can do, you can have the line work on one layer, then you can have your hatches on another layer. You can, and I think it just helps. And that's why I was saying, when you talk about medium in the beginning, the medium that you want to use, depending on what it is you want to achieve. So if when I do with pencil, I erase a lot, or I say rub because we use rubbers, or we used the word rubbers before I learned the word eraser. So yeah, if you know that you erase a lot, then you can say, and I want to do this quickly, maybe digital will be better for you if you can do digital art. But then finally, remember that all this is just a process, right? And it just depends on how you do what you do. Like there is no fixed formula that you must do it in a particular way, or you have to do it like Edgar said. No, this is just all you decide, right? You decide what you want to do and how you want to do it. How do you want it to look? How do you want it to appear in the end? It's all your artwork, right? You are the, unless it's like a client who specifies, I want my mermaid to have 10 eyes, but all this is, in the end of the day, it's just you decide. So yeah, go ahead, make fancy art. I don't know what I'm drawing now. I'm just doing it to just show that it all just connects like a big web that all leads to this image. And I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm hoping to probably make more. So let us end this by going back to those cheeky layers, yeah? And just leaving this guy here again, like back where we started. And hopefully we would have created something great. Alrighty. It's not, when you want it to end nicely and then your mouse starts to not work properly, or someone walks into the room and gets into your audio. Otherwise, yeah, there we go. Just gonna add this little, just for funsies, smiley face. Hope you can see it. In the words of a very YouTuber I like to follow, Go Make Stuff.